don't have that instinct automatically, because remember, some of this stuff is genetic. They either have it or they don't, right? This is what it's all about, people. Attack the boy! He must know that I'm in the dog fight with him. I'm next to him side by side. We have a bond that's unbreakable. I never get tired of the intro, bro.
The intro.
I never get tired of that.
And that's fire. Hey, fire. Look, that's a fire intro, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Whoever put that together for you,
Miles did.
They put some elbow grease into that intro.
Miles did. Damn, we got 15 people in already. That's
because they know it's gonna be hot and ready like spaghetti. Let's go.
Let's go. Now, we give them a minute to come in because we late. We got to give them a minute. Hey man, how's the weather like that in your side of the area, your side of the country? Ashton, how's the weather out there?
The snow is melting. We actually had a warm weekend, about 30, 40 degrees.
That's called warm?
Yeah, in the middle of January, yeah. It was below freezing last week.
Mark, you say this view is better than this view right here?
Yeah, if you wanted that, yeah, I like the other view better. I just have to.
Okay. What do you think, Ashton?
Let me see if I can switch to
me off.
I'll see if I can switch to landscape on my camera. I don't know if I can or not.
Yeah, you can see all your pretty background, Gerald.
Oh yeah. Let's do that. No, man.
I apologize, everybody. Internet's out in our area, so I gotta rely on Verizon Wireless, the old iPhone 17.
Right. And I knew that this topic it's not gonna strike a chord, but it will bring awareness, like what we talking about. You know, so like, and I'm gonna give you guys. I'm gonna let more people come in, but I want to say, guys, thanks for tuning in. I got my guys on here. I got Mark from Nemesis Kennel, and I got Ashton from 30B Kennels. And if you guys ever want to follow them, you can go to Ashton. He's right down there, Ashton at 30B Kennels. He's on Instagram, TikTok. He's killing on TikTok. He's on YouTube, but also he's got his own website. He's got his own, and he got a new logo with the real dogs on it.
Hey, we going full sale 2026. Full sale.
Right. Mark, he got some good boys, man. Vito and RoboCop. Oh no.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
And Mark,
hey, no competition, man. We working together.
But it's good competition because that's how we improve each other. You know what I'm saying? That's how we got to get better. Me and Mark gonna do a breeding. That's right. Me and Mark gonna do a breeding with Casanova's daughter.
Are you in California too, Mark?
Absolutely. Yeah. Real motherfuckers.
Yeah, I'm in the country, California.
I'm thinking about moving to Arizona or something, man. These Midwest winters ain't. I'm getting old. I'm feeling it in my bones now.
Well, you know, the Midwest. In Houston, in Arizona, like Flagstaff, or if you go to Phoenix, they get extremely hot, but they can get extremely cold too. Some bone chilling shit, but it ain't nothing like what you got cracking.
Yeah, that's why I can't go to Flagstaff. If I go to Arizona, I'm going straight to Phoenix. I'm gonna be right there in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
I need the heat. I need the hot. I can deal with the heat. I can't deal with the cold.
Yeah. So now I got also I said Mark from Nemesis Kennel, and I got Ashton for 30B Kennels. Guys, we're gonna talk about a topic that it's been touchy for me, and I would say I give my life experience about this. Before I got my first male Dobie, I had bought a female Dobie in early part of 2010. I called her Lady. I got her from a breeder in Arizona called Arizona Dobermans. I mean, they got me. They had me thinking, the Warlock Dobermans and the home of the big dog Dobermans. And I was like, ooh, that sounds cool. I didn't know anything, man. I completely know. And guys, before I get into this topic, understand I'm not throwing shade on nobody. All my people that's in my circle and my friends, this has nothing to do with you guys. It's a topic that needs to be discussed, right? Needs to be discussed. We can agree to disagree.
Perspectives.
Yeah, personal perspective. And so I bought a dog. I asked her, I said, well, first of all, let's go back. I bought another dog from a guy named Bob Dogs. It was a Dobie. You know Bob Dogs, right? So I bought a Dobie from him. Didn't know anything about American versus European. I bought a Dobie from him, a male pup, had him for 2 months. And I said, are these puppies AKC? He said, yeah, they're AKC. And when I got the paperwork, it said American Kennel Canine, not American
Oh, he
Kennel
got you.
Club. He got me. Listen, the certificate was about this big and it had a red ribbon on it. And I called the number and the fucking number was a Google number. So
He printed it.
yeah. So I was tripping. This I put this on my mother's dead body. This is exactly what happened. I was tripping. I'm like, wait a minute. So AKC stands for American Kennel Club. I said, I paid $800 for this dog. I was like, well, that's a lot of money for me. I mean, this is during recession. And I said, I don't want this dog no more. I said, this dog was sold under false pretenses.
I wouldn't want it either.
Right. So I took the dog and dropped the dog off at the Doberman rescue called Doberman Valley. I just left him there. I tied him to the front door. I called the lady and said, hey, I got a dog for you. It's a Doberman. And I let him go. Then I went and got the dog from that lady out there at Valley Doberman or King Doberman or whatever is in Arizona. And I said, oh, the dog's AKC registered. She said, yes, all of our dogs are AKC registered. I was like, American Kennel Club. She said, yes. Cool. I get the dog. They had to deliver in a transport where the person drove from Phoenix to me. I'm loving it. She come out here, drop the dog off. Yes. Got me a European Doberman with AKC registration. I get the registration and I'm looking at it. Listen, I'm a guy that doesn't read a lot. Case in point, people always say that the book for Jurassic Park is better than the movie. I beg to differ. I'm a visual motherfucker, right? I beg to differ. Like, dude, when I first saw Jurassic Park, it was like, man, that shit was lit. Even with Twilight, the movie Twilight, it was like, oh, the book is better. Fuck that. I'm not taking weeks to read that. So I filled the paperwork out and I got the registration back. I got it back. And then when I was thinking about breeding, I read it and it says limited AKC. So what is limited, man? I don't know what that means. Like you can have like 1 or 2 litters. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And I tried to call AKC and the AKC called and told me and said, hey, you got AKC registration. You can compete in confirmation shows, whatever shows, blah, 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 blah shows. But when it comes to breeding, you can't register the puppies. I said, well, how do I go around that? He said, you got to go back to the breeder and ask for them 3 digits that she had blacked out on the puppy application, right? So I'm calling her. I said, can I get the registration? I said, I want to breed her when she turns 2. She said, well, in order to breed her, you got to get the dog's hips and elbows, OFA. Okay, no problem. You got to title the dog, and we're not talking about CGC and CGCA. I said, but those are titles because AKC, those are actually on the pedigree. She said, no, titles outside of CGC and CGCA. I was like, that's bullshit. She said, yeah, but then I looked back at her stuff. Her dogs didn't have none of that. But you require me to get that done. So
what it sounds like to me is she ain't want you dipping in her pie.
Right. So I got rid of the female because she was skittish. Didn't know. This is during the process of me learning what to pick and what not to pick. Right. So now I say, you know what? I got a dog from Percy Bickerstaff. I got AKC papers, full AKC, but the dog was sold under false pretenses. I'm telling you, people, if if you're not listening to me and learning from all of us on this Doberman community about what not to do, you're gonna get fucked. You're gonna get toasted
Yeah.
unless you're buying from somebody who has history or who's been vetted, who's been vouched for. You're gonna get fucked.
100.
You you know, people say that
Every
to people in
time.
Europe every time. People say you're not gonna get the best dog overseas. You know what? That may be so, but that same shit that happens over there in Europe happens right here too. They're not gonna give you their best unless you really know them and you have good intentions and there's a very good relationship going on, right? Because typically, if they're breeders, they're going to try to keep the best one for themselves to perpetuate the lineage. It is what it is,
Hmm.
right? Or unless you got long cheddar and you're going to pay that good money and say, hey, wife, we got to sell this best one. Money talks, bullshit walks. So for me, it's like if you're paying 3,000 plus dollars, to me, the 3,000 is a lot of money. Now, my mortgage is $3,000. $3,000 or more, you're paying for the vet care. You get all of the health testing, emergency visits, food, shots, board and train. Why do I want to be in bed with another breeder for umpteen years just so I can procreate something that's beautiful that I paid for? And I said this, guys, all the time. I'm not buying a car cash and I'm not getting a pink slip. Fuck that. I'm not leasing cars. I'm not leasing cars.
Hmm.
I give you three, four, five, $6,000. I want the whole thing. Don't let me
Hmm.
find out, oh, you can't breathe because uh, you know what? I understand. We talked about it, Ashton. We said it today. It said, are we talking about breeders or are we talking about unethical, irresponsible owners? Right? Because if
Hmm.
you get me
Because there's a
limited and
difference.
I
There's a
breed,
big difference.
right? If you get me limited, people, here, newsflash. If you get limited AKC papers, you can still get the copy of the pedigree. You can still get all the stuff done that AKC has to offer. Get your little ribbon for your CGC, all that shit. You get it all. But when it comes to breeding them, registering the litter, and red stop sign. So breeders, I think, for the most part, a lot of them, not all, they don't want to give full AKC for number one. They don't want you to water down their lines, which I don't know how that's possible when it's not your lines. It's got other dogs' lines in them. Number two is they don't want you to be a puppy mill. Well, they can still breed the dog. When people ask, well, I know you can't
That's the
register the
thing.
litter, you can still breed
Well,
the dog.
It's not going to stop them unless you're waiting till these dogs are 16 weeks, 8 months, 10 months, and you're taking them to the vet to get them altered yourself. There's really nothing you can do once the dog leaves your hand. Now, again, like you said, they won't be able to register the litter, but if they're just trying to make a quick buck, they're not going to care about that. They're going to sell
yeah.
it to anybody who wants it for 1,500 bucks. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, I mean, I think when it comes to limited versus full, transparency is the king. Like, you need to ask your client, what are your intentions? You know what I mean? I'm not going to charge you an exorbitant fee for this dog if you don't want full AKC. If you truly want limited AKC, you want a pet, you're a end buyer, not a breeder, then we can discuss those options. Now, you may not get the best of the best. I may have to pick your puppy out for you, but those are options.
Yeah.
But where the deception comes in is these veteran breeders with these green buyers, um, telling people that, yeah, I'm going to give you a AKC registered dog. And so then they're under the false pretense that when this dog is of age, they can breed the dog. And then boom, like you said, Gerald, red stop sign. And now here
Yeah.
comes the stipulations. Here comes the, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. I got to see this. And look, don't let it be a stud dog, because they might say, well, I got to use him first. I got to see
Right.
what he throws. Then
Yeah.
I'll let you use him. And
Let
and
me
then what?
go ahead, Ashton. So yeah,
And I'll say
let
then
me
what? Then you're sitting there screwed.
let me give you my perspective real quick on that. So, and I'm going to go back with a little history what Gerald just told me about his name and his brand after the 2 decades that he's built his name, right? The reason why
Mhm.
most of us breeders go to Gerald is because he's raised the standard on his stud service, right? And for us as breeders, we know that he has quality studs that we can go to and his name's on it. And he's not going to just breed off any bitch off the street, right? And that's why he's where he's at. And that's why he's doing what he's doing and educating. So for us as breeders, especially for my breeding program, the last 8-9 years, me building my name, my reputation, my dogs, the quality of my dogs, the money, the structure, the discipline, all the things that I put into my dogs, right? That's why we give options for our clients. We give different price points. They understand that if they want limited, they can get limited. If they want full, they can get full too. But you got to ensure that these people that do have full, because back in the day, all my dogs came with full. And I had personal experiences where some people have bred my dogs, lost litters, my name's on it. They're registering the litter or the puppies, and now they're putting puppies out there that have my name on it. So I know you, Gerald, your name's, your honor, your respect, your name is everything, bro. Same with here, right? I'm like Scarface. My name, my honor, my respect, and my balls are on it, right?
I
So
like that.
for
I
all
like
that
that.
information that I put into it and all that structure and discipline, I'm just not going to throw full AKC to any Tom, Dick, or Harry out there that wants full AKC. They have to make sure, like you said, water down the bloodline. They can't breed to Americans. They can't breed to freaking damn Great Danes, things like that. They have to keep with the bloodline and progressing on the preservation of the breed to make the breed better, right? So again, for
Mhm.
us, by keeping our name and our structure and the respect of our kennels, is to make sure that we are very transparent. We also do pre-registration. So we pre-register all our dogs. If the
Explain
dog,
that, Mark.
so
Explain that
pre-registration,
pre-registration.
yeah, pre-registration. So breeders out there, they get this registration. Once they register the litter, they get a booklet with the registration copies of your puppies with each WSAKC number on it. You are required to give that to the owner, and the owner, it's their responsibility to actually register their dog. In the beginning, I used to give these papers out to these owners, and they pay, at the time I was charging $1,800 per dog. They pay $1,800 and not even pay $35 for a damn AKC registration. So out of 10 puppies, I would only have 5 registered, right? Now I can't track my puppies. So I learned after 2018 that, hey, you know what? If I have to spend a little more money up in the front end and pre-register all my dogs, now AKC recognizes you as a more reputable breeder by having 100% AKC registration of all your puppies. So every single client that comes in, they come in, register their puppies. They come in, they give me final payment. I come into my computer, I put it in there. The ownership transfers over to them 100%. They have copies of whether it's full or limited, but it's transferred within minutes, right? They get a registration number through their email. They have a copy of their all their registration. Boom, done and done, bro. Everything's transparent.
That's what I love
Now
about the
they're
AKC,
the
man.
new owner. So
AKC
again,
is so
my name's
fast,
on it,
dude.
your name's on
Oof.
it. If you're building your brand, you just don't want anyone out there watering down your name or your brand or anything like that by giving full AKC to anyone. So that's why we give options through our puppy, our breeding program. If they want ears, okay, it's one price. If they limited AKC, okay, it's one price. If they want full AKC, okay, it's another price, because they're gonna actually look at it and say, man, do I really want full AKC to pay that extra $500 or $1,000 more, right? Or do I'm not even intending to breed and I just want limited, which they can, like you said, Gerald, they can, enter into sports. They can do all the things that they need to with that limited. But again, to each his own. And that's why the perspective is a little different, but options is really good too. That's why I told you in your post, Gerald, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah. I think for
I want to
me
touch on
where
that.
I think where for me where I have I agree with everybody with Meredith and you and all the other respectful and responsible breeders that limited should be given. But when I was going through the process because of trauma, she just told me AKC registration. She never was specific about what type of AKC registration. There was
Yeah.
no clarity because I had tunnel vision where I wanted AKC registration. Now,
Sure.
can papers be hung on a dog? What that means that somebody using papers from another dog to register the dog? Of course they can, but at least the breeder's name is out of the way with that, right? My thing is
Mhm.
that if I was having, see, you guys have more clout than I do when it comes to breeding because you guys whelp the litters. You have females, so the responsibility and the onus is on you guys. But for me, it's like they're either going to pay the full price for full AKC, or if you want just a pet $1,500, you ain't getting no papers.
Mhm.
You get a health guarantee, but I'm not giving you no. And the $1,500 people is for dogs that are being rehomed or older age. And you just want to. Somebody brought the dog back, no refund. Brought the dog back, but you want to rehome the dog, no papers or whatever. $1,500, no papers. Here it is. I can believe in that too because not everybody's trying to be a breeder, and that is automatic. And but then again, there has been breeders that say, "Oh, I don't want to be a breeder. I just got one female." All of a sudden, they're a responsible breeder. They're taking
Yeah.
it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
what do you think is the threshold, if there is one, for monetary reason? Let's say I spend $4,000 with you guys, you Mark, you Ashton. Is that number you think is suffice for limited, or should you
No,
say because of the market value, it suffice for full?
full. Yeah, for my
See,
package, and I can only speak for my breeding program for 4K. I'm doing basic obedience fundamentals. I'm doing crate training. I'm pretty much potty training them. Sometimes I even microchip them, right? Plus they're getting the ears, their tails, the dew claws, the whole pretty much whole full 9 yards. Now, unless they want to go further into having them stay with me, then I do boarding. I do, pretty much feeding them. The ears I'm taking care of, I'm having them stand up by the time they pick them up. But then you're losing that bonding time. So again, at that price, full AKC, they get the whole VIP package, man.
What about that higher package where it comes with the crate training and all this other shit? Because you got levels with this shit.
Yep.
see,
What about that
it's
one?
different. It's different for us, man. Because I have to adjust to government market because I come from bullies, right? Where there is, unfortunately, there is no limited anything. There's no pet home anything. Almost everyone who buys an American bully wants to be a breeder someday. So we're used to selling dogs 5, 6, 7, 8, sometimes even $10,000, right? Full paperwork. We don't even have to hear from them again. So going to the Doberman market and seeing that it's a more prestigious breed, but the price point is a little bit lower. I'll admit that's going to be an adjustment for me, but we have much bigger litters. You got to think, like I told you on the phone earlier today, Gerald, in a pocket American bully litter, you get 4 or 5 puppies, you are on your hands and knees. Thank you. Thank you. Some of these Doberman, they having 12, 13, 14 pups. And I'm gonna tell you guys right now, it ain't a lot of people that want to spend five, six, $7,000 on a puppy at one time. You might get one every here and there, but somebody who want to spend 10 grand, 14 people spending 10 grand on the same litter, you might play the lottery, you know. So to
Yeah.
answer your previous question, Gerald, I think 4K is a good price point for a full AKC Doberman. You know what I mean? With ears and tails. And I want to touch on that too, because I've been seeing a lot of jibber jabber in some of the Gigabyte Gangster Doberman forums. They say reputable Doberman breeders crop and dock the whole litter, no questions asked. How do y'all feel about that?
Well, the breed standard says that the ears should be cropped and the tail should be docked, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
the controversial topic of that is first of all the tails going to be done. If somebody don't want the tails docked, docked and the ears cropped, they got to pay up front everything. Because if you want to back out, at least we know that we can sell this dog all natural.
100.
You know what I'm saying? But
Because natural is hard to sell, believe it or not. Natural is hard to
it
sell.
is. It
A
is.
lot of
It is.
risks.
And for me, it's like the new thing and Mark, you guys, and Ashton, you should be seeing this too. A lot of the European breeders, they are cropping and docking at the same time. They're not docking the tail 2 days after they're born. They're doing the tails and ears at 8 weeks because it's so many complications come with docking the tails at 3 days. The mama licking them, the stitches come out, you get the nub, you got to restitch it, and then they're still nursing, and the mom is steadily licking. Now, like even Casanova, when he was brought over, or when Gaius was brought over, the docking and the cropping was done after they was not nursing anymore. How do you guys feel about that? Especially you, Mark.
I'll let
Yeah.
Mark answer that first. Mark's
Yeah.
the
For
more
me,
veteran, so
Gerald,
I'm
you
gonna let
know
him
how I
answer
feel
first.
about that. As a preservation breeder and breeding for health and looking for the risks and being very proactive and not reactive, you know about happy tail. Happy tail with working dogs, they can actually break their tail. They have to actually be amputated. So by that time, you have to pretty much amputate the dog's tail, which is actually grown into the vertebrae already, right? So I rather have a little scar tissue at the end of the tail than actually demean my Doberman in a way where his structure's off, his balance is off by having that long ass tail. And the next thing you know, he breaks his tail at some type of joint. You got to take it into the vet, and the vet says, you know what, we have to amputate your dog's tail. So same thing with dew claws. The reason why we remove dew claws is because with sport work, Dobermans always use their paws. They be pulling that shit out on the decoy, on the sleeve, on things like that. So that's very painful for the dogs too. So we don't like to do that. With the ears, same thing, 8 weeks old, earliest you can do them. But if you want a floppy ear, they get ear infections, yeast infections, hematomas. And then what you have to do with the hematoma, you got to take it into the vet. The vet says, you know what? There's so much blood coagulating in the ear. We have to remove the ear. So why not be proactive and do these things for the breed to keep them healthy than to rather risk them down the line? So again, that's my perspective on it, and making sure that we always do certain things, like especially the tails, between 3 and 5 days. Little cartilage, take it, one stitch. For me, not everyone's like this, man. I pretty much gave up my life, my whole 35-year career, to take care of my dogs and focus my dogs. So I'm with them 24/7. I'm watching them. I don't get no sleep for 8-9 weeks because I'm overprotective of them, right? And I'm always watching them. So again, you want to be a breeder, you want to give up your life, pretty much your freedom. You ain't going nowhere, man. I haven't gone nowhere in 5-6 years. I have puppies every 3 months. I have dogs that I have to take care of. I got training, I got, boarding, I got all types of things. So if you want to get into this particular game, as we say, you pretty much have to make sacrifices.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's tough.
I it's tough. For me, and I hats off to all the breeders. Like I said, I get it. I'm like a single man. I get to stick and move. You know what I'm saying? And and so it's I understand that people do limited. I get that. But at what point, what the standards that are being required to get full, are you thinking that the standards are being done to the actual breeder's dog, or are they just gatekeeping because they want to be the only one with the bloodline? Are most breeders really trying to be responsible by giving you limited until you get the proper documentation done? Or they surely just gatekeep, like, I don't want nobody to have a no lines of mine? Because here's my
I
here's my
think
here's,
it's a mix
here's,
of
here's my
both.
here's my concern.
It's a mix
Here's
of
my
both.
concern. But here's my concern. It if somebody comes to me, like when I got that female, I was like, man, I ain't finna tell her I'm gonna breed. She may not want to give me the puppy. Most people are gonna say, well, they ain't trying to breed, but in the back of their mind, they probably are want to breed because it's a beautiful dog. But if they tell the breeder, I want to breed, then they may not sell us the dog, or they may not give us full AKC registration. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
double-edged sword.
But see,
Yeah.
that's where seller transparency comes in. Because as a seller, if you present the options before the buyer even inquires, there's no gray area. You don't have to lie to me. Listen, if you
That's
want to
right.
breed the dog, I'm going to give you your outlet to breed the dog. I'm going to make sure you get a dog that I deem as a high quality, good representation of of what I created. If you tell me that you don't want to breed the dog, again, I'm not gonna let you get the first or second pick, male or female, and you just want limited AKC. No, you might have to get the dog that, he's a little derpy, he's a little on the smaller side, all dogs need love. That's just what it is. You know, that's the double-edged sword to me. And that's
Yeah.
where, like we talked about earlier, Gerald, about you can be the most ethical breeder in the world, but are you selling to ethical buyers?
That's a
You
good
feel what I'm
point.
saying? Because you can do all your due diligence to limited AKC. Hell, you might not even give them the paperwork at all. But unless you fix that dog before it leaves, you cannot stop that dog from being bred if they truly want to breed it. And I'm going to tell you right now, there are millions of people in America that want cheap puppies. Cheap puppies. So if Jerome and Shenanigans down the block got Dobermans for sale for 750, no paperwork, I guarantee you somebody gonna bite.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna bite.
One of my sayings is if you buy cheap, you buy twice. And that's in the real world, man. So if
Mm.
you want to buy quality, you're going to have to pay the price, right? And especially from us as reputable breeders that stand on the breed and do what's necessary to ensure all the ethical things that we need to do, like the health testing and OFA certification and all the requirements that, instill of the quality of the breed that we breed. So for us, in Nemesis Kennels, we started an application back in 2018, 2019. It's actually gotten a little more robust as time goes on because I've learned from clients of what necessities they need, and not every person has the same needs, right? So if they do want to breed, and Gerald, you know this, I do whelping help now, because if a new breeder needs some whelping help, they can come and pay me. I'll whelp their whole litter, successfully. They can pay me, I can do it, I can take care of their puppies. So I have that option and service that I can provide for them. So within our application, that's what we ask. Are you looking for a service dog? Are you looking for a pet? Are you looking for a sports dog? Are you looking to breed? Now those four options are there, right? So if they're looking to breed and they tell me, hey, I'm looking to breed, and they write it down there, okay, cool. I love it. Make sure that you get full AKC. This is the package that you're getting. And then I can actually walk you through your first breeding. I can help you because I want you to make sure that you have a successful litter, right? So I'm there 24/7. You guys can call me. I'm on the phone walking you through it. I tell you all the necessary things that you need to buy, like the Nutrical and all these different things, how to whelp. If you see a breech puppy, that's no biggie. If you see a twisted puppy, you got to be concerned. They should be whelping after every, hour and a half to 2 hours, or you have to stimulate them. All these different things that we grow from experience, right? And that's why I always talk about the proof is in the pudding, right? Because you have experience of all this information that you can give back. So again, experience pays. And I think sometimes when you're newer to the game, you try to put your best foot forward, but it doesn't always happen like you want it. So I always kind of lean on people that have done it more than I have. Always get resources like veterinarian, reproductive vets, bully vets, whoever's done it more than I have, and that actually knows more of the trials and tribulations that I can learn from because I'm a student of my craft and I'm always learning. That's the best information you can get.
You know,
My
I
mom always had a saying that it's more than one way to skin a cat. So I think as a breeder, you have to be willing to see things from a different perspective because no litter is just like the last. You're
Yep.
gonna run into a different issue or a different hurdle to jump every single litter. And having
Yep.
that network, real like they say, your network is your net worth. So
Exactly.
you got to be open to taking advice like Gerald has taught me. Look, I thought that I read for hours, read a million articles, and I swear at least once a week Gerald's like, did you do this? I'm like, no. Did you do that? Not yet, Gerald. Not yet, Gerald. You better get on that, Ashton. I'm like, God damn it, Gerald. I feel like I'm back talking to my damn dad. Shit. But it's
Keeping
stuff that
you
I need to
accountable.
hear, and I know he's not. Yeah, and I know Gerald's not saying it from a I'm sunning you standpoint. He's saying it from
Sure.
I made these mistakes. I want to see you succeed. So please make sure you do this and listen to me, young buck. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Listen to me.
Yeah. When I was in corporate America, there's another thing that we said: we rise together, we fall together. And especially in the Doberman community, the network of breeders that we have, I think we all bounce off each other and, we can always learn from each other and raise each other up. So,
the thing is that I made a on my and guys, check out my mini series. It's called Rise and Guard. I've had both of these guys on. I'm dropping them twice a week. They're 15, 20-minute segments. It's to the point questions with to the point answers. We may not have all the answers, but we speak our mind about it. And I say this because it's like, are breeders nowadays, are they more gatekeeping or are they educating? Are they keeping everything close to the chest because they know that one good answer to a question that somebody has will put them out of business? And I always say, this is like a pizza, man. When you get a pizza from Domino's, Pizza Hut, I love Pizza Hut Italian sausage. But when you're getting a pizza, man, it's cut up in slices. And it's cut up in slices to share. And then, unless you're like Kimbertall Kennels out there in Pennsylvania 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, where you had 30, 40 goddamn females and all these studs coming in from Altobello, unless you're them, there's enough puppies for everybody. Listen, me and Ladabelle got 3 litters. We got 1 litter dropped already, another litter dropping next week, and another litter dropping in about a month and a half. There still ain't enough puppies for the calls. So you still gonna have to ration it out and refer them to people that you rock with.
yeah.
So I'm gonna say, hey, if you need a puppy now, where are you located? Colorado. All right. try Rocky Mountains. Where you are in North Dakota, all right, try Heifer, right? Where you are in near Gary, Indiana, where Michael Jackson's from, call Ashton. Are you in LA? All right, get with Nemesis. Everybody else, I can't vouch for you, dog. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's still enough for everybody to go around. That's what I'm saying, right? It's like,
And,
but when we
I
speak
felt
about limited, I listen. I don't tell anybody what price to sell their putts for. I remember I was talking to. She made a good point. Shout out to Tasha. She made a good point at Hepper Kennels, Hepper Doberman. Follow her. She wrote down. She texted me how much she's charging to do all this whelping, all of the care, the aftercare, etc. I was like, God damn, are you charging yourself? She said, hey, this is my time is money,
That's
right?
right.
So she has a price structure based off of that. That's why I don't dictate on what you or anybody else should sell your dogs because it is a labor of love, right? But then what are you neglecting? Like they got a ranch, bro, a real farm ranch. I'm talking about the land is farther you can see, and they got thousands of fucking buffalo, right? So she's taken away of what makes real money to deal with these puppies. So I get the method to the madness on why she's charging this much for this dog, right?
Got to know your value.
Right. So I
hmm
can't tell somebody, I can just tell you what I pay, what my budget is. But then again, as you guys already know, because you guys are buyers of the breed, you always go over fucking budget. You always go in there saying,
hmm
I want $4,000 for this dog, and I'm gonna pay no more than $2,000 for shipping. And then when the motherfuckers start saying the euros, depending on what day it is
Yeah.
really higher than you think, then
hmm
guess what? You're gonna go over your budget because at the end of the day, you're looking at the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
So, I
You,
mean,
you know,
let me.
Gerald, to your previous point, I think it's two sides to that coin when you said gatekeepers versus preserving the breed. When I look at people like myself, Nemesis, you guys are helpful breeders, right? You love the Doberman breed. You want people who want to educate themselves, experience the breed. You want to make sure they have a positive experience. But then you have the other side of the coin. And I feel like that's the TikTok side, right? Where it's almost like people are trying to steer everyone away from Dobermans. They're like, oh, it's becoming a fad breed
Oh
now.
my God,
Everybody
yeah.
wants
Mhm.
one now. And it's like, bro, I'm gonna tell you guys, as somebody who bred American bullies for close to 10 years, pre-pandemic, people didn't even know what American bully was, right? We were still getting called pit bulls, low riders, staffies. Nobody really knew what it was except for our niche community. After COVID, the breed blew up. Now it went two ways. It went the exotics and it went, the American bully, right? And you got pocket, standard, XL, etc. I didn't get upset when everybody wanted an American bully. You know why? Because I love those dogs. I live with them. I experienced them. I bred them. So when people will come up to me and want education on the breed, I'm not going to steer them away. No, I'm going to tell them the pros and the cons of the breed. Every breed has pros and cons. But these people want to be in your world. You feel
Yeah.
me? And I think the common misconception is, and Nemesis, you can probably attest to this more than anybody right now. They think that everybody wants to breed Doberman, but Doberman, they're like the Cadillac of dogs. Like everybody not built to breed those dogs. You know what I mean? Everybody's not. They're a very vocal, sensitive, and emotional breed. You give one Doberman too much attention, the other one's mad at you for the rest of the day. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I think that people have this false pretense that everyone who asks about the breed, is interested in the breed, wants to get a puppy, is attempting to be a breeder. And they're not. People just like the dogs.
Correct.
They're a beautiful breed. They're a beautiful
Yeah.
breed. So, I say this to the TikTok gatekeepers, to the I'm gonna call out every breeder and tell you if they're ethical, if they're not ethical, if you should shop with them, if you should not shop with them. Let me tell you something. You're not gonna stop nobody from wanting to spend their money. You're
That's
not gonna
right.
stop them. If they like what that guy down the street got, they gonna spend money with that guy down the street. I'm sorry, baby. Just stop it.
Hey, one thing, Ashton, that I got on TikTok the other day was so funny because my wife's a monetary sometimes, and she watches all the comments when it comes in because I can't answer all the questions that come in. And some lady says,
Tell. Oh, I'm already excited for this one. Tell me. Tell me.
she says, this lady says, because they're asking me, are they American or they European? I said, no, they're 100% European, bloodlines. And they're saying, well, if they're born in America, they ain't European. And I was like, what the hell is that? What kind of concept is that? So that means German shepherds, if they're born here, they're not German. If they're Frenchies, they're not Frenchies. If they're born here, I said, I don't understand that way of thinking, So yeah, that's so funny. You get all these little TikTok people up there, and it's funny. But that's a way for us to go live. It's a little more acceptable to show our puppies because for us, I'm very transparent. So from the day they're born to the day my owners and clients pick them up, I go live pretty much every single day. They see how we desensitize them, how we structure them. We do aptitude testing, temperament training. I mean, we do all types of different things, but everyone's gonna, have those people that have those comments. So yeah, it's pretty funny, man, how TikTok is though.
Look,
You, you
the
know what?
funniest comments for me, man. Oh, go ahead. My bad, Gerald. Go ahead.
I want to answer this question, and I want to reiterate. Shout out to Quake C4. He's asked the question like, do limited breeding rights go hand in hand with AKC limited registration? I'm purchasing a puppy with breeding restrictions until full health testing is complete, which I fully understand and accept. That is correct. With limited breeding rights, limited AKC, it's the same thing,
Yeah,
just said differently.
sure.
I think this breeder he's buying a dog from has a great intentions with, okay, I will let you have full breeding rights, but you got to get all of the health tests. Now, to what extent the health tests, whether that means getting the hips and elbows or if they're certified at the age of 2, that's going to be between you and them. But yes, check with them on that, on how many things have to be tested. Requirements. So you get with them. Yes. I want to touch bases on that TikTok shit, man. I'm trying to be real cool with this, man. Real cool. I'm trying to be
No.
real.
Let it go. Let it
I'm
go.
trying to be real
Go
cool.
full out, man.
So everybody knows that, if you're on my team and you friends of mine, if I saw a shirt and the shirt says, I don't fuck with people who it says the t-shirt has them in letters. It says you had to figure it out because it had only the alphabets. It says I don't fuck with people who my people don't fuck with. And it was called I don't, it had the letters up there. So you had to what the hell IDFW? Like what the fuck was that? Like, so let the truth be told, I don't fuck with people who don't, you know what I'm trying to say, right? And I don't fuck with people who fuck with people. You know what I'm trying to say. But these people, the vitriol of them going after William Regal Doberman is astronomical. And they're not going after the person that bought the dog.
Yeah.
Nobody's fucking with Simone.
Sure.
Everybody fucking with William. And I'm like, yo, because I'm talking to him on a weekly basis, like, yo, you know what? Keep it PC. Don't give them nothing to bite on. Ignore the noise. You're going to get that in the Doberman world. You're going to get that in the breeding world, period. And so I'm looking at these two individuals. And the other one's a guy. And they're being very vocal about him selling the dog, and they calling him a backyard breeder. They not knowing anything about this guy past, not knowing he'd been in the military, not knowing he served his country, not knowing that he's an actual veterinarian. They're not knowing this. They don't know that he has half an acre in the outskirts of Atlanta where he built the kennel. Well, Peter has came out. AKC has came out to vet his property. He sat down with Peter. He took his health test off his website because people were using his information. Now, what he probably did, he's put the AKC number up there with the actual certificate date. You don't want to do that, people. Don't ever show your certificate date on your AKC. Give them the AKC number all day long. But the social to that is the certificate date. Am I right, Mark?
That's right.
Don't get 100. So I can get that part why he took everything down in regards to that, and people who wants to know about the health test, he'll send it to them individually. But my point is this. When you're doing this right here at people, you see that finger? I'm pointing at you guys right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 more pointing back at me. Don't let me find out who your breeders are. Because if I do, I'm lighting their ass up. They better be walking on water like Jesus Christ. Because every breeder that on this planet in the United States can't check all the boxes with their dogs. Because you know why? There's no perfect dog.
Exactly. There's
So
no perfect
while they
anything.
are riding him, making themselves relevant over this one guy who sold a dog who they probably want to sell a dog to or refer them to a breeder they rock with so they can get a kickback, you're going to go in on this guy who got everything done right. There's no other box he could have checked in regards to this. And you're making yourself relevant off of his name. Your breeders, all I got to do is put it out there and say, people, find out who, blah, 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 kennel, where she get her dog from, where you get his dog from. Bro, I promise you.
Yeah.
I promise you, whatever breeder they got those dogs from, they got some fucked up shit that happened too. We all did, because a smart man learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from other mistakes.
That's right. You know, like Biggie says, more money, more problems, right? So when you reach a different level, especially with high-end clients like that and exposed, you're going to get a lot of damn critics, man. So
you know what was crazy?
What I think it is?
What?
What I think it is, right? And I'm gonna say this. This is just my opinion. You guys can chime in on it if you want to. A lot of the people who I have seen with the most to say about William and Simone, I've noticed one thing in particular. None of them are breeders themselves. They are all end buyers. They're all end buyers. So what my epiphany, my hypothesis is, a lot of these people, you same way with you, Gerald. You had tunnel vision. You seen a dog, you wanted a dog. A lot of these people, they search up Doberman on Google, and Google's going to show you whatever picture is getting the most hits. There's no denying that the European look is favored over the American look for the most part. A lot of these people seen European Dobermans, and they always blame it on, well, I wasn't educated. They see European Dobermans, they want them, and they get sold an American Doberman. They love their dog, so they're forced to advocate for their dog. So now, when it's time for them to breed their dog, and no one's checking for the puppies, they have to attack the people who are getting the sales, the people who are getting the clout, the views, the clicks, right? Because reputable and established American Doberman breeders are not focused on European Doberman breeders. They don't care, because they gotta worry about their clients. They gotta worry about taking their dogs to the AKC and showing them getting those pretty ribbons. They don't care about what we got going on over here. It's the people who are envious and jealous. They're the ones that are talking the most, the ones who want the clout, not for what they can produce in that whelping box, but for what jibber jabber they can spew out their mouth on TikTok and get however many millions of views. So,
that's right.
William, if you watching this, we support you, brother. I support you, William.
Hey, there's a saying that you guys probably seen. It says, I'm not taking constructive criticism by anyone that hasn't constructed shit.
You know what?
Mhm.
Hey, what's the other one that the guy said? Everybody want to do big boy shit until it's time to do big boy shit.
That's right. That's right.
You know,
100.
the crazy part about it is that had he sold the dog to anybody else, nobody would have gave a fuck. He has sold dogs to I'm not going to say the other people because it's all on. You can already search it on his Instagram. But he's sold some dogs to some high end clients. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't mind. I've sold dogs to high end clients.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons and Flex and Steve Harvey. I mean, usually like Steve Harvey's wife Margie has never plugged me one time. But when I tag her ass, she ain't saying it ain't coming from me, right? The people that mean the most to me, that I cater to the most, are the average people, man. Those are your supporters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like everybody's making. So when I was talking to him, he said on my podcast. So I'm not telling you something in confidence. He said on my podcast, he said he went to PETA. He went to PETA's headquarters, and they had a talk. And they said, PETA at the end of the day said, we want you to neuter and spay all your dogs. And he asked a question and said, hey, if we do that, where are the purebreds going to come from? You go to the rescue and we just get mixed breed dogs now? He said, that's why he said at one of his reels, the Doberman is gone. The Rottweiler is gone. The Shepherd is gone. And people took that 30-second clip and didn't even watch the hour-and-a-half video where he had 2 paragraphs before that shit. And my thing is like, it's no winning with nobody. They want you to adopt and don't shop. Now, here's the deal. Some people, I'm not saying their names, they buy the Doberman, and you guys know who we talking about. They buy the Doberman, but then they rescue a few animals to like make it look like a cake that's been baked with and been glazed with lemon glaze, but it's actually really piss on there. It's baby powder. Because you rescued one animal, but you bought the one that you want to give shit on. Let's talk about it. You ain't riding those folks where you bought the other dog from that's a pedigree dog that you rescued. Dude, there's a lot of fucking Malinois that's being sold every day. I see, dude, it's amazing. Like the Malinois is the new Frenchie, man. It's like I see soccer moms, plain yogurt granola soccer moms that got infant babies, and they popping out
It's
the
a
damn
dangerous
SUV.
game. It's a dangerous
They're popping
game.
out the SUV, going hiking with 2 strollers, 2 babies, one 1-year-old, one 2-year-old, and a Malinois on the side. And I'm like, wow, the Malinois is high strung. And you're telling me that we got a problem in the Doberman community? How about all these Malinois that's spinning around in a fucking crate because your hiking is sleepwalking to them?
Mm-hmm.
That's why you're able to rescue Malinois, rescue other breeds, you know what I'm saying? And at an alarming rate. But we're not talking about
It's so funny though, Gerald, because people will, again, back to TikTok bullshit. People will say, "Oh, the Doberman is becoming a fad breed. Everybody's getting Dobermans." Have y'all checked the AKC most popular breeds? Doberman ain't even cracked the top 10.
No.
They ain't cracked the top 10. So let me shut up.
It's weird, man,
It's
because
crazy.
it's weird because so now we get back to the topic because we've ventured off. I see now you guys are making me see a little bit why limited versus full. But let's say this. Let's say we made a standard of I give you full AKC once you get all the Embark DNA testing done, whether you get it from Embark or AKC. Let me stop plugging Embark because I ain't got paid one damn. They ain't giving me no discounts on that.
Right.
They gave me no discounts, people. Let's say
many dogs tested.
no. you know, you get the DNA testing done, whether it's through UC Davis or whatever, and you get the hips and elbows OFA certified, not pre-hip exam. You think still could they come back and get the full, but do they have to pay extra to get the
That's
full
the that's
when they've already spent the money to for the proper documentation? Which one you think is best?
that's the gray area right there, because it's like, okay, we're gonna throw out some numbers here. Let's say you tell me, Mark, if this sounds right. Let's say $2,500 for limited, 4,000 for full AKC. So let's say we have a prospective full AKC buyer, and we say, all right, pending health tests, I'll give you full AKC. Do you take the $2,500 then, and then the $1,500 down the road, or do you take the whole 4,000, and if the dog don't pass, you give them a portion of their money back? What's the best
Woo!
route you would take? Because
Woo!
you've been in this
Well,
scenario before.
yeah, for me, if I'm gonna actually sell to a potential breeder, I'm gonna make 100% that my sire and dam was 100% clear of everything, and to ensure that whatever they purchase is gonna be a breeding aspect, right? Now, if they
Hmm.
have one copy of VWD, I always ensure that they don't breed to another dog that has VWD or vice versa with the DCM or anything like that. So those are the requirements. I always look for it. Like if you want to pay for it and you may never need it, then at least you have it. Like in my instinct back in 2016, when I had Nemesis and I got him from Gerald and Tara and Gloria, I wasn't gonna breed, man. My wife just wanted a dog because she loved our female after 2 years, and I came back to Gerald and I said, hey, let me see if I can breed Nemesis with one of your other studs. And he's all, well, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. So I think with the requirements that's needed to actually go forward in the breeding aspect, I think those requirements are needed. But that price range, I think if you are potentially thinking about breeding, it's going to be cheaper for you to pay. For us, it's 3,500. We just add extra like the microchipping, the crate training, and things like that for four. But yeah. So again, I rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And if you're not looking and you just want a pet, and get the limited, you know. But if you're going to come back at me and say I want full, then you're going to pay the difference of what I normally charge in
What
initially. What? Uh huh.
what happened when some I know out of all the puppies sold, somebody who paid the limited, they was like, wait a minute, man. I had a litter and I can't register. I can't register the litter. What has happened when they called you back? I know somebody's called you back because they didn't understand the
For
difference,
me,
or they read over that part in the contract.
nah, for me, it's always transparent. You're either getting limited, and this is why you don't have any breeding rights, or if you are potentially thinking about breeding, then you have breeding rights and you get the full AKC. So again, I'm educated enough to transfer that information to them, because again, I rather put everything on the table than to have problems down the line, right? So for me, it's just like,
Hmm.
hey, no one has ever came back to me and say, hey man, I had limited, but I really want it full. No, well, we should have discussed that before. But yeah, I
But
mean, if
that's a
they
good.
did, like I said, I would just charge them the extra 500 for the full AKC, and that's cheap.
But Ashton made a good example though. He said, "What if somebody pays the full, say 4,000,
Mm-hmm.
and we put numbers out there, people, but there's packages that's involved with this too. But let's say 4,000. You know what? Let's go. Let's go with Meredith. Let's say 8,000 full AKC, right? Because her program is different,
Mm-hmm.
and she'll explain to you her program why her dogs are structured a certain way. But let's say
Yep.
8,000, and then the person gets the dogs tested, and the hips are dysplasia after 2 years, and they have, well, let's say just stop at the hips,
Mm-hmm.
but both parents' hips were good. And remember, nothing's guaranteed. My question is, do you think the buyers are entitled because now they don't want to breed that dog that has hip dysplasia because after the getting certified 2 years later, you think the buyers are entitled to get the difference of making the dog limited, like the $2,000 difference now? Or should that be mentioned in the contract?
It should be stipulated in the contract, but I think by being a reputable breeder and having that your word, right, and you stand by your kennels, that if that did happen, then I would kind of try to make them whole in some way, where I would, give them some money back if they're not going to breed down the line. That's just from my perspective, but again, I rather save face. But again, we put up all the front end, like you said, nothing's guaranteed, but it shouldn't come back at that if you've done all the requirements for your sire and dam. So I don't know.
And you know,
I'll
and you,
say I'll say a common practice in the bully community, right? So let's say, like as Gerald's example, a dog came back dysplastic. Um, Obviously, we would ask you, hey, show me the X-rays. Okay, dog's dysplastic. This dog shouldn't be bred. Fix this dog immediately, right? Once you show me proof that that dog is fixed, if we have that level of rapport, that level of trust, let me replace the dog. Let me get you a better specimen. You paid for a full registered, show worthy, work worthy, what have you. Give me the opportunity to replace that dog, right? At my next litter. I'm not gonna be one of those assholes that says at my nearest convenience, not, oh sorry, I already pre-sold this litter. No, you trust in me, let me take care of you. That's
No.
how I see it.
Yeah, and everything, again, we offer a 1 year, guarantee for our dogs. If anything genetics happens to the dog, we'll replace that puppy. You just have to get the ears, but they also have to, get all the necropsy. They have to get the information, all that from their vet, and then transfer that over to our vet, so we can concur that it did happen in that way or fashion. Because a lot of times some people will be sending me paperwork and it's like, dude, that has nothing to do with anything about genetics. You had this dog for 4 years.
Mhm.
Maybe it was the care that they were under that, you weren't a responsible owner in some way or fashion. So, for me, they have to have proof. And we will concur with their vet and my vet. So
here's the thing, guys, with the hips being OFA certified, because that's all I know. I go to SoCal Riverside, and they do a very good job. This is my opinion. When you get the hips OFA certified, check with your vet to see if they do OFA X-rays. Your vet is not the person that's going to tell you whether the hips are going to be good, fair, or dysplastic. Okay.
yeah,
All he's going to do is take the exam,
send
send
it
it
out.
off to OFA, and they're going to do the interpretation with 3 vets. Whatever 2 of the 3 vets say that the examination interpretation is what it's going to be. If 2 out of the 3 said fair and 1 says excellent, it's going to be fair. If 2 out of the 3 says excellent and 1 says fair, it's going to be excellent. Right? So, but here's my word of advice. Don't go to a vet and don't go to a vet and then have the vet to put your dog under to get the exam because he's shaking too much or moving around. I always say have the dog natural. Don't have him under anesthesia when he getting his OFA exam, because here's the deal. The x-rays, the interpretation is being done by OFA. They don't know if your dog was under anesthesia or not. So now, while the dog is under anesthesia,
Show different results.
He can be too relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And now the hips look dysplastic. You want him to be aware and his hips tense, where they give the authentic review of the hips in live motion or in a conscious state. Don't do it while the dog's under, because he just won't lay down. Listen, don't vet techs see this shit all the time where dogs are fidgety. They know that they press that button and then it's okay. These are good pictures. Don't put them under. What do you guys say about that?
Yeah, I agree. I agree to that. And I think certain tests you can get normal or excellent, or you can get fair or normal. I think it's either the elbows or the hips. I'm not sure which vice, but I know our dogs have some excellent, some normal, and then some fair.
Hmm. Yep, I agree. Like you said, if the dog is just too relaxed and he just loses a goose, limp, gimp, it can tell a completely different story. Yeah, I I concur.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, guys, before we get out of here and take some questions and comments before. Where do you guys see the the breed going in what direction in regards to the well, we know that genotype wise, I mean phenotype wise, that is going towards the fact that the more impressive look, the European look, right? But in regards to the genotype, what do you think, guys? What do you think the breed is going towards? And what I mean by that, let me elaborate a little bit more. I see that the breed is still going in a direction where it's all about the looks and not about the workability. They're breeding the most mildest ones in the litter to the most mildest females, and they're kicking out great looking dogs, probably perfect health, but they have the prey drive of a 1 month old baby. There's none. Where do you guys see the Doberman breed going? In what direction?
Go ahead, Ashley.
I feel like it just depends. I feel like it depends on who you ask. I'll say that because we have some people who are breeding, and Gerald, we've talked about this on previous lives. A lot of American buyers just don't have the time or the outlets for high prey drive dogs, high energy dogs. So there are a number of breeders, especially American Doberman breeders. They're breeding for that milder temperament. Like when I see, these videos and they say, oh, the Doberman's so sensitive, you see these derpy pictures of Doberman with birthday hats on, their ears down, and they're just looking all, bright eyed and bushy tailed. But then you got the other side of the coin, you got breeders like us, and we're breeding badass dogs all around. I feel like soon there's gonna be a clearer line in the sand because me personally, I don't want no skittish dog. Yeah, I told you, Gerald, when I first started getting Doberman and those first two males didn't cut it, they had to go. Simple as that. They had to get out of here. And now every dog gets tested, every dog gets tried. Do you have the courage? Will you bite something? I didn't get you just because you were handsome. I got you because you were bred to be a personal protection dog. So as far as the genotype on where the breed goes, I feel like there's going to be a clear line in the sand. You're going to have to really do some research on, do I want a calm dog or do I want a dog with some fire behind him?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree in somewhat. We pride our kennels in a lot of confidence in our dogs. A lot of our dogs that we do home, our owners and clients do a lot of work with them out in the field with protection sports, and we get a lot of feedback all the way from New York to to West Coast that even our females and males are been evaluated very highly in the workability, with the confidence they're learning quickly. You're going to have some dogs that, again, with owners, they just want to be a pet, right? But so how we promote our breed is we're looking for a responsible owner that will take one of our dogs that has a high prey drive, very confident, great temperament, no behavior issues, if you put the structure in them, but they have the potential to reach their full potential if you want to put them in these sports. Doesn't mean you have to. And remember, Dobermans are very codependent and very an emotional dog. So they pretty much structure themselves around your lifestyle. So if your lifestyle dictates that you're always running, you're always doing certain things, you're always putting them in certain environments, doing environmental training, they're gonna rise to the occasion to be that particular dog. Now, if you want to just chill with these particular Dobermans, they can be a lap dog too, but you got to understand, when it's time to turn on, they're going to turn on. So for us, and I sent you all my embark, Gerald, with the coefficiency, we most of our dogs are 44, 50, 59, in those ranges. And we're breeding, out of our bloodline, but at a level where these dogs come with all that structure and potential.
Consistency.
Yeah. So yeah. So, I think it all depends on the client, on how are they going to structure their dogs and how you educate them, in order to, reach the dog's potential. But, it all depends. Like you said, Ashton, it all depends, on the owner and, the outlook of the dog.
I think for me, I don't think I know that I have been on this campaign 17 years in January now, that I want to have the power there when I need to use the power. I give an example all the time about my Grand National. When I want to cruise, I can do 40, 50 miles an hour on the highway when there's no traffic, but it's always traffic in LA. But when I want to gun it, ain't too much nothing fucking with me on that highway on a cold night. Period. Because it's an intercooled. So for me, it's like I've been strategically breeding to females that have some workability, right? Therefore, I even the chances, because I know my boys, you guys know, I'm not keeping no dog that's not showing the signs that I want up at 5 or 6 months.
Facts.
Because, I got Alonzo and Brody are the trailblazers. They are the standard for me, right? So if I breed my boy to a woman, to a female dog that has the ability or shows the signs, that I'm just increasing the chances so that when and if people want to do rally sport, dock diving, barn hunting, course luring, IPO, ring sport, PSA, Mondio, personal protection, they have something to build on.
That's right.
They have something there, right? I have a friend of mine, I call his name out, Laddie, is king of the white Dobermans. That's all he breeds is the off-color Dobermans. And I asked him everyone, he got another white Doberman because one of them he had to put down, they had cancer. And this white Dobie, he said, he has no drive. He doesn't go after nothing. I said, well, Laddie, you used to having dogs that have a little bit of drive because that's how he gets the dog to stand on their hind legs and bark for people and all that Venice Beach shit, right? And for the first time, he's like, dog has no drive, but he's a white dog. I said, Laddie, that's not you. And to me, it's like, that's kennel blindness. That means that you're in love with the dog. I get it, but he can't be a demo dog. Now, for me, if my dog don't show any kind of signs at the age of 5 months, because now it's a minimum 6 months to get him. But of course, my boys over there in Europe, they tweaking the paperwork that he's 5 and that he's 6 months, but he's really 5.5, depending on how large they look. But I think I'm going to always campaign workability in my lines. And that's something that's inside the dog. And if I keep doing that and I keep versus preaching it, if I just show it, people understand, okay, yeah, I see what he's doing now.
That's right.
I see what he's doing. But let's get some comments here, guys.
Yes, sir.
Let me see here, and then we'll let you guys go. Dewan Blakeney. I've always as I always sold every puppy, it is a pup until health test requirements were passed. Clients that had the option to pay for the remaining balance for breeding stock. It serves the client because if the dog doesn't pass the health test requirements, the client has has paid for the useless dog, which usually legal to a client wanting another dog or money back. Ain't nobody getting no money back because there's no guarantees in this game. Denise Ash, I'm curious, what is an average Doberman puppy with full registration going for these days? That comes from parents that are Shih One titles. I haven't bought a puppy in 15 years. Hey, inflation is changed. So whatever you thought 15 years ago, scratch that shit. 3 times as much. But
They
it was like
everywhere.
18.
It's
It's like
just everywhere.
yeah, $1,800 ears and health guarantee at the time when I bought mine. Ain't no dog you gonna get with titled parents. $1,800 full AKC. If you do, you better check that AKC information, and I bet you the first 2 letters are gonna be WZ and not WS.
Mm-hmm.
I know the price is probably all over the place, but what is the average? 35 and 45. That's the average. Like I say, there's breeders out there charging $8,000, $6,000. I mean, listen, the prices dictate on how much the breeder has actually put into the breed to justify her cost. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
it's all over the place, man. You're gonna have some people who, like, was it Helper Doberman?
Heifer, yeah.
They got a large overhead. They got a big old farm they got to take care of. They might charge a little bit more as opposed to a hobby breeder, someone who has 1 to 2 litters a year. They don't have a lot of overhead costs because they don't have 10, 12, 13 dogs. They might charge you a little less. It's just, it fluctuates.
Hey,
Yeah,
Mark,
I think
go
at
ahead.
one time, Gerald, back in what was it, 2019, 2020, we had our network of breeders at that time, and we kind of pretty much all got together and kind of gave a standard price because some people were a little under, some people were a little more. So we're like, hey, let's just make one standard price so we can all benefit from it because, a lot of people were fluctuating. Like, why are you charging 4? This guy's charging 2, but you're offering the same, pretty much Doberman. So I think, yeah, it is kind of all over the place right now. Again, for full AKC, some of our dogs are titled, some of them are not. We pretty much charge the same price. Doesn't matter.
Quake C4 said, do you guys believe routine blood work should be a part of the responsible breeding program, or is it unnecessary once the dog passes standard health testing? Now, here's the deal. These genetic markers that we're looking for, once the dog has been coded that he has or has not these markers, blood work ain't gonna change that shit. You're born that way, it's gonna stay that way. Now, you can do what is it, Halter test more? What is it called?
Yep, Walter.
Halter
Holters and
test.
Echoes.
With the Echo.
That ain't blood work.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know what you mean by that, guy.
Yeah, for us, and I would always recommend this for any type of owner with any type of dog. It doesn't matter what breed, because we believe in not over vaccinating your dogs, and some vaccinations stay in the system for a long period of time. Is to do a titer TITER test, because a lot of times if you're over vaccinating your dogs, that can cut the length of your dog's longevity and can risk your dog's health. So make sure, just because they say 3 years of rabies, before that 3 years is up, go do a titer test, blood test, and make sure that the mercury is not still in the system, or still in the system where it's still immune in the system. And then you can prolong that, because a lot of these vets, as we were going to talk about before, Gerald, about private industries acquiring all these type of vet, clinics, they're pushing a lot of extra medication on our dogs. And, especially with flea and tick medication, they have pesticides in them. So I would always suggest doing a titer test, which is a blood test for your dogs, to ensure that your dog is still immune with those vaccinations.
Let me give a California Rottweilers. Dude, I want to say this guy right here, whoever this is, you got a dope ass logo because he got our California flag on there. Is that some dope shit?
Yeah, that's cool.
It says you shouldn't. He said you shouldn't have to pay full until the dog passes the required test if there's a stipulations in the contract. Everybody's contract's different.
Yep.
And let me see what this guy says right here. That isn't correct. Some will put the right dog in the right person's hand that they know that they will benefit from down the road and will sacrifice money to do so. I don't remember what part that was pertaining to. It all depends on the individual breeders. Yes, 1,000% agreed. Okay, you agreed to whatever comment. There you go. Listen, guys, I want to say, I want to say thanks for coming on the show. Shout out again if you guys want to follow Mark at Nemesis Kennel. Just type in the word Nemesis Kennel. He's got his own YouTube channel. He's got his own TikTok. He's got his own Instagram. He got a bunch of Instagram. He got his own Facebook. He got his own his gadgets he be getting off of TikTok, having me buy the same gadget. He got his own tattoos.
Got my own tattoos.
He does his own tattoos too. He
like
own
that,
branding, my own shirts.
Yes, he makes his own t-shirts.
Shopify.
And if you guys want to follow Ashton at 30B Kennel, so he got some dope shit cracking. He's on TikTok. He's on YouTube. He's on Instagram. I think you got a website. You got that yet?
Website's getting restructured right now.
Restructured.
30downkennels.com.
And guys, if you guys want to get on my weekly newsletter, please subscribe. The link is in my bio on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. Click on the link. Says and subscribe. It's free. It costs you nothing. You get. I spend money for you guys to get something for free. Guys, I want to say thanks for coming on to the show. Somebody named Kitty Cat. Love Nemesis Kennel. That's not your wife, man, chiming in under somebody's name.
No, that's one of our owners. Thank you, Kitty.
I always say, guys,
that's beautiful right there, man.
Appreciate it. I always say, guys, at the end of every podcast, stay resilient, but be responsible. Until next time, peace. Well, you guys.